โอกาสนี้เป็นโอกาสที่พวกเราจะได้เห็นได้ซักได้ถามได้เห็นทางเลือกของโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่ง Shadowview ซึ่งเป็นแบรนด์ใหม่ของโลกสำหรับคลาริเนตนะครับทั้งแจ๊สทั้งคลาสสิกมัน Amazing มากพี่โก้ใช้เวลาอยู่กับคุณโจดี้ 3-4 วันได้ความรู้มากๆเลยอยากให้พวกเราเนี่ยได้ซักได้ถามกันแบบภาษาพวกเราคือบ้านๆเลยถามมาได้เลยอะไรที่พี่โก้หรือว่าพี่พันธ์ช่วยtranslate ได้ก็จะทำให้ทันทีนะครับแต่โอเวอร์ออลก็คือฟังภาษาอังกฤษกันไปแล้วกันเนาะลูกเนาะแต่ถ้าเกิดสงสัยยังไงอยากรู้จริงสะกิดลุงโก้ได้นะครับนะโอเคเดี๋ยวพี่พันธ์ช่วยด้วยพี่พรอาจารย์บอลช่วยด้วยเนาะครับ so officially very welcome to Thailand Mr. Jody Espina I'm not only your friends but I'm your fan for a long time and they are too from Singapore and Thailand and Savannah right okay so ปรับมือดังๆต้อนรับเขานะครับ Mr. Jody Espina
Thank you, Mr. Cole, and thank you for coming. I would like to tell you today about the Shedville company, how we make the mouthpiece, and a little bit about our company, about the different models. I'll tell you just a very little bit because the biggest thing is for you to come and try each model. We're all different and we try to make different mouthpieces for different players. So in the Shedville, should I let you translate or it's okay? I mean, what do you think?
Just go ahead.
Okay. So my goal in the company, in the Shedville mouthpieces, is to make the best mouthpiece we can for classical musicians, to make it out of the best, finest material, and the highest technology so that we can get repeatability, also the best handwork. So looking to the past great mouthpieces, but always also trying to innovate. So Shedville is actually a Jody Jazz company. I am Jody from Jody Jazz. I started Jody Jazz in the year 2000, and we are sold in over 50 countries, primarily jazz saxophone mouthpieces. We also have jazz clarinet. We have many models in the Jody Jazz, and our latest mouthpiece is the world's first hand-hammered saxophone mouthpiece. So always trying to come up with new things, and this is what we do with Shedville as well. So we are Jody Jazz, and I own now Shedville, and also Rousseau mouthpieces, is classical saxophone mouthpieces. In 2019, we were 15 people, and now this year we are up to 24 people. So our company is growing still. If you are interested, I did a TEDx talk, 12 minutes only, about creativity and being creative in every part of your life. And that's how I have achieved, because I started as a professional musician, and then I started the mouthpieces in the year 2000. But through acting creatively in every part of my life, it led me to this life, which is kind of has made some of my dreams come true. So the Shedville company was actually founded in the 1920s. At that time, Selmer and Van Doren were making mouthpieces also. And the Shedville company became very famous because the people felt that the hard rubber that they made, had the most resonance and the most beautiful sound. They made their own rubber in the 1920s and 30s. And this rubber is what we use, this similar formula is what we have now in the Shedville company. After World War II, this rubber was not made anymore until this man named Omar Henderson, he is a scientist from the United States. He bought the Shedville company and he had to try and figure out how to make this hard rubber, new formula for the old feeling. So that's what we have, and we bought the company in 2018. In the past, mouthpieces are made from molding. You take a big metal, you pour liquid rubber inside, and you pull out, and you have a mold. In a mold, mouthpiece is much, much, much handwork. And each mouthpiece can be different. So my goal is to make the mouthpiece, each model, the same, consistent. And so our technology is called the CNC machine. We start with a rod of rubber, and we put it on the lathe, we turn, and then we put it on the mill and drill like this. We make the mouthpiece 85 or 90% finished, and then we use our handwork. So our handwork is very expert, but the mouthpiece curve, the curve is done by the machine. The curve between the reed, where the mouthpiece curves away, is the most important part of a mouthpiece. And we have been able to achieve this curve and repeat it by the machine. And then we go inside with the hand. We measure everything many ways, so to be very, very careful. We play test every single mouthpiece. Every mouthpiece we make, we play test. In my company, I have 5 people who play professional musicians. I still test myself also. So the first model that we made was called the Elite clarinet mouthpiece. I took an old Shedville mouthpiece from the 1940s and scanned it, and then made it my own design, but it's from that tradition. And I will have a musician play it for you.
It's wonderful. It has the same basics like it has the SAD, but this one it's even better.
So at the end, I will play the 3 models back to back, but I let you hear him now. So that first model is the most compact sound, probably the most bright sound. And then that musician, Milan Riricha from Czech Republic, he asked me if we could make a darker mouthpiece, a more warm, more round sound. So he worked with me on the Umbra, and that is the second model I show you. More dark, somewhat similar to Van Doren BD5, or Licostini is a mouthpiece some people know. The first one, the Elite, is more like a B40, B45, something like that. All these mouthpieces come in different tip openings. So you can get from 100 millimeter or 95 millimeter up to 130, 135 millimeter, okay? So each model comes in many tip openings. So the Umbra,
immediately.
Yeah.
This is what you were talking about, that I was always asking you about darker, more elastic, mellow, honey, and this is this, and it fits with each clarinet.
this is another one of our artists from the USA. Can we turn the lights down? Anybody know where the light is?
ปิดไฟได้ไหมโอเคเห็นไหมจ๊ะ
No, down, off. The other
ปิด
way.
ปิดจ้ะลูกปิด
Yeah. Better. It's because I have a face for the radio, not for TV. So, thank you. Kapura. Okay. So the Elite and the Umbra have the Chedeville rubber, this formula that only we have. It's a softer rubber, gives a warmer sound. It vibrates very beautiful. But it is more expensive to make. So we wanted to make a mouthpiece that was more affordable, that students could buy. It's a professional mouthpiece. We make it in all the same techniques and the same handwork, but it's in normal German hard rubber. So this is called the SAV model. And the Elite is the brighter model, more bright. The Umbra is the dark, and the SAV is in the middle. And here this week in Bangkok, many players have tried, some like the Umbra, some like the Elite, and many also like this model, the SAV. So it's always, again, to try for yourself.
So I play a little bit more open, so this is a SAV5.
So this recording was made recently at the International Clarinet Conference in Reno, Nevada. It was in a big casino, and there were concerts in the other rooms. It was so loud, and that's the noise from here. Sorry. Oops.
So I play a little bit more open, so this is a SAV5.
So all of you are better clarinet players than me. My first instrument is clarinet, but I have been playing saxophone and jazz all these years. But I would play each model, the Elite first. The Umbra.
ในระหว่างนี้น้องๆถ้ามีคำถามอะไรเงี้ยเนาะ sorry for disturb during he just read on ถามพี่ได้เพราะว่าลองมา 3-4 วันแล้วรักทุกรุ่นเลย I try all model fell in love every model yeah so and next one is
Umbra.
Umbra เสียงจะดาร์กหน่อยเนาะ นาะเสียงดาร์กเสียงดึงๆน้องเล็กชอบเสียงดึงๆไหมหรือชอบเสียงไบรท์หน่อยไบรท์หน่อยใช่ไหมไบรท์ต้องอีลิทกับ SAV อ่ะ SAV นี่คือเมื่อกี้
This
เสียง
one is back to the elite.
โอเค
Elite,
back
the
to
first
elite
one. Here.
yeah
Okay. Elite, Umbra. This is Umbra, the dark one. And now SAV.
ชอบตอนแรกไม่ชอบฟังต่ำสุดตอนแรกชอบไอ้ตัวดาร์กนี่ไง
So, we also make bass clarinet mouthpiece, very warm, nice sound. Okay. And the one more mouthpiece I will show you today is from Jody Jazz. In this mouthpiece, the tip openings go from 1 to 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In 1 through 5, the mouthpiece sounds more or less classical. And 6 through 11, the sound is much brighter, much louder for jazz clarinet player who plays with drums and more loud instruments. So this is a 7. And with a softer reed, this is a Leger European cut 3.0, more soft reed. So I play loose. And if I have to play loud, so very versatile. I also, on the Cherville website, is a facing chart, so you can check your mouthpiece. For example, if you play Van Doren B40, for example, you can look up here, and this is my F3. You can find your mouthpiece. If you find the same tip opening of your mouthpiece, I think you should always try one of mine lower, like you should try F2, F3, F4. Try different tip openings. When you play a mouthpiece, you may like it because of the same tip opening, but you also may like it because of where the curve starts. So that's called the length of the facing curve. The curve can start close to the tip of the mouthpiece, and you take little mouthpiece. And if it goes further away, you take more mouthpiece. So you may like a mouthpiece because the facing curve where it starts, not just the tip opening. So it's important to keep open mind and try many mouthpieces. In the slogan of Cherville is life without limits. And what I'm trying to think about, sometimes clarinet music or music is so difficult, hard to play. But if you want to play a piece of music, you can do it. You say, I will play that piece of music, and you make it happen. What I'm trying to do is make it easier for you. You find the right equipment for you, and you don't have to think about it. The reed, and also an important part when you try new mouthpiece, the reed is just as important. The reed and the mouthpiece, both important. So you should understand that you might change reed with new mouthpiece to find the perfect reed. I think it's very important, and often clarinet players only think, this is my reed. But if you have the open mind, you found the magic combination. Perfect reed, perfect mouthpiece, and then it's perfect. Does anybody have a question about mouthpieces? How they're made or anything? Okay. So we also make barrels. And this barrel is made with the Cherville rubber, and it's called the Umbra. I think it produces a warm sound. And now, this barrel is made from aluminum, hard anodized aluminum. And I believe it gives more projection. And this week, many clarinet players liked this barrel. This is called a Casper barrel. And the barrels come in different sizes, different length, so for your tuning. So I hope you come to visit us in Savannah, Georgia. Visit our showroom. We have a pool table, bar, some movie theater, and you can see a tour of how we make the mouthpieces. So that's all I have for you, but I hope you have some questions, and if you can, come downstairs and try the mouthpieces. So thank you very much.
on มีคำถามไหม Any question please
If your mouthpiece is very slightly chipped, would you recommend resurfacing it or just get a new one?
So you say your mouthpiece is kind of a cheap one?
It's very slightly dented.
Oh, very small?
Yeah.
You could try having it refaced, but if it's your only mouthpiece, you have to be careful because often people go to have a mouthpiece changed and they don't like what happens. So you have to have another backup mouthpiece first. But what I say is try many mouthpieces because you can't know what's out there unless you try.
Okay.
And it could be very often people, if their first mouthpiece, then they try others and they go, oh, I should have changed long ago. But if you have somebody you trust to change, yes, but first have a mouthpiece you know you can play, because they will change it, and you may not like it. It's,
Would it damage it if you say soak the mouthpiece?
if you what?
If you soak it,
Soap?
soak. The cloth, let's say you put a cloth through and then you pull it. Would it damage that?
It should be a very soft cloth, gentle with the mouthpiece.
But it's okay to dry
It's okay. You can keep it clean, but gentle, not too big of cloth. And yeah.
เด็กๆข้างหลังมีคำถามไหมลูก ถามขำๆก็ได้ เด็กๆส่วนใหญ่จะเพลย์เล่น 4C ใช่ไหมเอ้ยเดี๋ยวเขาเรียกอะไร C นะ
B45 B
เด็กๆเล่นมอลพีอะไรหนูรู้ป่ะลูกยามาฮ่าใช่ไหมยามาฮ่า 4C ใช่ไหมลูกส่วนใหญ่จะ
Okay, so the Yamaha is a good mouthpiece and good to start with.
เริ่มต้นที่ดี
And when you try another mouthpiece, you will probably hear your sound, and you will develop your sound that way. So, how long have you been playing?
เล่นมากี่ปีแล้วลูก เล่นมานานฮะยังไม่ถึงless than 1 year
Okay, that's perfect. And then
Nice.
now soon, next year,
อืม
maybe start looking and try some mouthpiece. Yeah.
เนาะปีหน้าเราก็พอเราเริ่มเล่นได้ประมาณหนึ่งละเราก็ไปลองดูลองเปิดโลกลองโอเพนไมล์ไปลองอย่างอื่นบ้าง มันจะได้มีคัลเลอร์ในการบรรเลงมากขึ้นนะลูกเนาะอืม
And Mr. Ko is owner of Sax Society, is a music shop, and he will be having the Shedville mouthpieces there for you to try.
yes นะถ้าใครว่างๆก็ไม่เคยไปมั้งร้านลุงโก้อะเคยไปปะแซกโซไซตี้ไม่เคยไปเนาะแต่พี่บอลไปบ่อยครูบอลเนี่ยไปบ่อยนะแล้วก็วันหลังก็ไปเที่ยวกันเนาะไปเที่ยวไปลองเชดวิลเมาส์พีซโจดี้แจ๊สนะครับ
All right.
คำถามไหมอาจารย์เล็กถามหน่อยเถอะถาม
ปกติใช้ B ไวโอลิน B45
B45
เทียบกับรุ่นไหนของเขา
normally he play a B45
Yes.
if comparison to the
Yes.
relate to which one
You can look at the start. And so
นี่ก็ใช้ B15
we see. So B45 around here is the F4, and probably the elite F4
เบอร์4
also, but try F3, F4, F5, and normally
Yes.
this, yeah.
เดี๋ยวว่างๆเล่นลงไปลองดูเขาเอามาเป็นถังเลย แล้วก็ไปลองดูว่า F4 F5 F3 ว่ามันไปกับเราไหมแต่สำคัญคือ read นะครับ ลิ้นอ่ะมันอาจจะต้องขยับขึ้นลงได้นิดหน่อย อย่าไปติดกับลิ้นเดิมๆของเรา
น้องๆที่เขาทำเป็นแจ๊สที่ต่างๆมันทำไมมันซาวออกมาแล้วมันไม่เหมือนคลาสสิกอะไรเงี้ยเขาตัดยังไงไม่รู้เขาตัดอะไร
he's always with a classical training. Would like to ask that your mouthpiece produce, you're producing 3-4 mouthpiece you show. How to think in jazz or classic?
Well, for me, what do I have on now? Okay, so the Shedeville mouthpieces are for classical music, yes, and the Jody Jazz is more for jazz, but because the inside is smaller to produce loud or more loud. But for example, it's how you play. So this is classical mouthpiece. But I'm not classical player. I'm jazz player, really. So I can play. How I play. So classical mouthpiece, and then jazz mouthpiece, very open tip opening, soft reed. But all have different mouth inside our mouth, different tongue. We take in different amount of mouthpiece. So the best is to try. But the Shedville mouthpieces are all classical. But a jazz musician will make them sound jazzy. You know.
I love Shade View, you know. I just only play jazz, no classical at all. พี่ว่าแม้ว่า Shade View จะเป็นม็อกพิสำหรับ classical แต่เวลาคนแจ๊สมาเล่นมันก็เป็นแจ๊สอะนึกไม่ออกมันพี่ว่าอยู่ที่เราเล่นนะเนาะแต่ว่าเขาบอลเพื่อสิ่งนี้แต่ส่วนโจดี้แจ๊สม็อกพิสบอลเพื่อจะเป็นแจ๊สแต่ก็สามารถเล่นคลาสสิกได้ดีเช่นกันแล้วแต่เล่นดีมากครับเป็นคำถามที่ดีคริสอาจารย์ครับ
Is there any reason that the Casper barrel is narrow? Like, was it designed that way for sound or just for looks?
Well, I think it's, everything we do is about vibration. Because mouthpieces vibrate, the reed vibrates. This ligature, I forgot to tell you about this ligature, is my ligature. It vibrates. And I think by taking material away, it changes the vibration. With this ligature, I'm adding mass, I'm adding a heaviness that gives the body of the sound. Something about taking the material away right here changes the vibration. This does produce more sound. Inside a barrel is the taper, which affects how you blow, how the intonation, and also that projection. But this is a unusual thing.
What did you say it was made out of?
It's made out of
the same, right?
hard anodized aluminum, this one. And this aluminum, hard anodized, they make cooking pots out of. So to make aluminum safe for the body. But it makes the material hard as diamonds. It's a very hard material, and that produces the vibration that's very interesting.
But the other barrel is.
The other barrel is the Shedville hard rubber. So it produces a warmer sound. It's very different. But the players here this week have been liking this very much, this barrel, Casper barrel.
Any question from Singapore?
Well, if there are no more questions, I'm very happy if you come up here and ask me, or we'll be downstairs and you can come try mouthpieces. Okay. Thank you.
ผมเลยร้ายคุณโจดี้ครับ Thank you very muchคุณโจดี้ Thank you so ถ่ายรูปด้วยกันได้ไหมได้ไหมอยากได้รูปอะเนาะถ่ายรูปนะอาจารย์เต้เอาพูดจุฬาคือ photo with us yeah you here